Welcome to week 22 of going from $5,000 to $200,000 using an automated trading bot, Profit Trailer. This week's gains have been pretty good. We've gained $243.84, which is effectively 4.39% on our holdings last week. Please ensure you pause the video at this stage to read this disclaimer and warning, as I am not a financial advisor and anything in my videos must not be taken as financial advice. Once you've read this disclaimer and you agree with it, please feel free to continue the video. I've made a couple of minor changes this week. The introduction of a new coin, ADA, and my bot was running on a machine I have sitting at home. I've decided to test this VIAMACH virtual service platform. I've chosen to run the bot out of Amsterdam as I want to trade Binance. And again, if you wouldn't mind using my affiliate links, they can be found in the video's description. That will help me grow this channel. At some stage I will do a video on setting up the virtual servers in VIAMACH. As this is my first real week of doing an update to weekly results, we'll have a quick look back at last week's results. We won't be doing this every week, but last week, week 21, we didn't have a great week, but saying that, we still took $75 worth of profit, and we were still estimated to end up the month at about 447, so about $27 shy of where we should have been at. Again, the reason week 21 wasn't a great week, which is last week, is due to a few Bitcoin price drops, as we can see in these circles. As I mentioned last week, it's better for the bot with sideways movement and slow growth. These were the figures of last week. We had a few holdings at the end of last week. A couple of coins, Ethereum and EOS, were making us a loss. They weren't dollar cost average down or DCA down, so they were single buys. But we had 3 coins, 2 of which we had bought a second time to bring our average cost down, and Bitcoin we had bought 4 times to try and bring the average cost down. So we were waiting for these to really sell. So it wasn't really a great week last week, but we were holding some bags, and when they pop, the returns will be sweet. So we were looking at these bags popping during this week. And sure enough, the week 21 bags did actually sell this week, which is week 22. And as I mentioned before, that when a bag sells, as you're holding, in this case, 4 times the amount of coins originally purchased, you will make 4 times the amount of money. So one single sale, we made $21 for BTC, $8.41 for Litecoin, XRP $7, and another $3 for XRP. For some reason the bot didn't sell these two together. That was probably because of the orders on the Binance platform, and one sold, I think it was a day later, as we can see here. One sold on the 29th, 3,000, the other one sold on the 30th, the remainder of the coins. So again, these bags were popping this week from the week before, and we had some pretty good gains on those. So this week, week 22, was a good week. Due to a few price rises in Bitcoin and the sideways movement, we've seen some good buys and some good sells. We saw some good price rise action here, and these two here, and some fairly nice sideways movement on after the price rise. So if we look at week 22's Profit Trailer monitor interface screen, we can see our total current value is the 5587. We can see our starting balance, 5063. We can see our profits for all time, 529. Profits for last week, 166. Yesterday, $38. And today, $39. We can see at the top here, we're still holding 3 pairs. Nothing are in the DCA, and there's a possible buy of 3 pairs because we are only running 6 pairs in total. Again, I find that very important, as I do not want to have a situation where I have bags of suspect or what I would consider to be dodgy coins. So this week, I would consider it being a good week. We've overperformed slightly, which made up for last week's underperformance. So what I do is in my Excel spreadsheet, I'll add that new figure. I'll turn it green as it's now an actual figure. So here we go, green and yellow highlighted, so it stands out. The total current value is 5587, with a projected profit this week to be $164. So last week we made that $232, which was actually a profit of 4.35%. You'll notice that my estimated weekly return is 2.95%. That is how I calculate week on week into the future. Not a very good way of calculating, because as we've said before, and as we all know, past financial returns are not indicative of future ones. but I have to have some sort of idea of what I'm looking for a return. I also have an average weekly return here, which is the calculation of the actual average of all the returns we've seen so far. So far we've seen 4.65, 1.24, 4.35. Prior to that, I was running a bot in a paper trading mode for a couple of months. One thing I've added into my spreadsheet is the BNB's fees, because I want to keep an eye on the BNB that I need to have, or the Binance coin that I need to have in my account to continue paying for fees. So last week, the BNB coin was valued at 16.51, and I had a little over 3 coins in there, totaling just over $50. The end of this week, the coin's gone up to 17.07. I've now got 1.4 BNB in my wallet, which is a total of $25, and the fees I've had to pay this week for this profit is $25.54. I was due next week to be putting some more funds into the BNB wallet, but if we get another good week this week, I could see that 1.4 evaporate. So I'm probably going to move that 77.13 up to this week's. As we've had a good week, you'll notice that we've brought forward the 10k marker by 1 week. So the green highlight here, remember, was an estimate of when we should be doubling the money in the bot, early part November. We can see now that it's moved forward by 1 week, only just. So let's have a quick look at my bots that I've got set up here. The first one you're looking at is a test bot, as you can see by it saying test mode. I put half a Bitcoin in here just as an example. We can see how long this has been running for by clicking on the stats. And here, if I go to the very first daily profit, so I started this on the 20th of the 5th, and we can see the stats for the days basically. So here we had 0.0000546, and if I hover over each of these sort of node points for each of the days, you can see in these 2 days or 3 days we had 0 profits. Let's click back on the monitor, so we can see that today we've had 2 trades and effectively had a $9.81 profit. Yesterday this had a paper trade profit of $24. The last 7 days paper trade profit of $70, and all time since I started the bot a paper trade profit of $125. Profit Trader Monitor is pretty useful because it tells you the value of coins here in this section of the screen. It tells you if Bitcoin's going up, going down in this section of the screen. And we've been looking at this in the last few weeks of videos, the total current value. So originally I put in a paper amount of money of 0.5 Bitcoin. In these few days we've been running this, we're up to 0.51, and the total value's jumped by just over $100. You can see here what possible buys the bot's looking at picking up. So again, I don't run very many pairs because I don't want to be holding bags for any length of time. So it tends to be the top 10 coins-ish. ADA, Ethereum, Link, XLM. We are holding 4 pairs. We've got EOS, XRP, Litecoin and XMR. And you can see how these stand at the moment. So we've got a loss on each of these coins at the moment. In the DCA, the dollar cost average section of the profit trailer, you can see there's nothing in there. This is if we've actually bought a coin a second or third time to bring the overall value of that down. We can also see the buy the bot's made over time, and we can see the sales. So if we get up in the morning and we wonder what those couple of sales were yesterday, I can see here XLM sold at 03.23 for this amount of profit in BTC and made $4.93. The config side of things allows us to look at the configurations. Now, I mentioned earlier that I tend to run the config called Old Faithful with a slight few changes. I won't be going through the setup of Profit Trader in this video, that will be in a later video, but I do make a few changes. So I use Old Faithful, which is a pre-built strategy by Profit Trader, but I would stress that you should always test any strategy before you start using it. I haven't tweaked any of these, but the thing I tend to tweak are the gains. So this will basically signal to the bot that I'm looking to make 1.17% profit before it sells. If the market is a little bit of a downward trend, I will actually come in here and I'll tend to manually edit this to something like 1%, 0.99, 1.05. If the market's doing pretty well, I might put this up to 1.2, 1.27. If it's sort of an average week or an average day on the market, I tend to have this around about 1.2. The DCA is where you configure or set up your dollar cost averaging. So in my case, what I tend to do is I have the same settings that we have in the pairs, the purchasing of the pairs, but here you can see that if my coins get down to -5% on profit, it will tend to trigger a buy. The first buy will buy 100% of the coins back, the second buy will buy 50% of the coins back, and so on and so forth. You can decide how many levels you go down. I think mine is 5. If we scroll back up to the top, I can see here DCA max buy times 5. All of these settings, by the way, are available in the wiki for Profit Trailer, and you can easily get to that by clicking on this wiki button at the bottom. This will then take you to their support page or their wiki page, and from there it's a very good and useful tool to do things like quick instructions to set it up quickly, but more importantly I can come down and look at all these example strategies they've got, and the one I've said I'm using is the Old Faithful, which is this one. So I click on that, you'll see that will take me to Old Faithful, and it will give you a synopsis of what this strategy will actually do for you. So that's one of my bots, which is my test bot. My live bot, you can see here, I'm up to 5616 at the moment. This is Monday morning, I'm recording this video. We can see that today we've had 2 trades. If I want to see what those trades are, I would come into a sales log, and I can see that for the 1st of June, Ethereum sold, profit of 543, EOS sold, profit of 598. And again I can click on stats, and I can see how my daily stats are going, how my monthly profits are going. So the only month I've really run this at the moment in live trading is during May. You can also look at coin specific statistics, so I can see which has been my most profitable coin, Ethereum in this case, Litecoin followed by Litecoin, followed by Bitcoin, XRP, and the 2 new ones that I've added recently, EOS and ADA. You can see that an average trade takes about 25 hours, and all the data can be shown in tables. So I can actually look through day by day to see the profits just by scrolling in this window here. A couple of days not having anything, that's where I had the bags. Now as a test, I've also set up a new larger test bot, and that's this one. So again I can see test mode, this is running in test mode. And effectively I started this with $50,000. Wanted to see how Profit Trailer would scale. So this is paper trading. And at the moment, it looks like it's doing on average, well, yesterday it did $322. This morning, $111. And when did I start this? Well, if I can click on stats, I can click on or highlight this first node here under daily profits. And you can see I actually only started this on the 30th. Of May, so I don't want to run this for the month of June and July, just to see how this compares with my live trading bot. Interesting thing is, if I click on sales, we can see what we're selling, and as we're buying, instead of $400 odd worth of value in coins, we're buying close to $4,000 worth of coins, which means instead of making $4 or $5 a coin, or $4 or $5 a trade, we're now making $40, $50, $60 or $70 a trade. So it does look like it scales up quite well, but it's early days. As I say, this bot's only been running for a few days. So it'll be interesting to see what sort of returns we get having got $50,000 of paper money in Profit Trailer. Thank you for watching my video progress of going from $5,000 to $200,000. If you'd like to support the channel, and you haven't done so already, then please use the affiliate links for things like Profit Trailer, Binance, or the virtual machine servers in Amsterdam. Next week we'll do our regular bot update, and we'll be looking at setting up a virtual machine. Thank you again.